Hello, Houston, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Al Rucker Show. We have a lovely panel of ladies here in our studio today. Today we have Miss Seneca Dunmore and Jotina Buck. You remember Miss Jotina Buck that was here not too long ago with Mr. Willie D. Wasn't that long ago? Well, she's going to Africa, and she's going to tell us all about it. Also, we have Tamara, the lovely promotional specialist for the Good Hair Show, coming to Houston Sunday, July 17, 2016 at the Stafford Center, 10505 Cash Road, Stafford, Texas 77477. And that is presented by Miss Hazel L. Brown Enterprises and the Lock Block presents Good Hair Battle, Hair Show, Health and Beauty Expo. And you're now tuned in to the Al Rucker Show.
Thank you for tuning in to the Al Rucker Show. And again, we have our guests, Jacinta, Seneca, Hazel, and Tam. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. I'm good. You butcher my name every single time.
No, I didn't.
You did. Just call me Joe, man.
What'd I say?
Call me Joe.
What'd I call you?
I don't even know. Like something like San Jacinta.
I said Joe Center?
Right? Yeah.
I did?
That's right.
Oh my God. Well, hey, the good thing about it is she already know I'm messing her name.
Yeah,
right?
every time.
So I got Hazel right.
You did.
Hazel
I got
Brown.
Seneca right.
You did.
And I got Tam right.
Okay, so that means you have to have me on one more time so you can get it right the
Well,
third
you know,
time.
we mess up. We mess up the best. I mess up the best.
Okay, I'll take that.
All right. So tell me, Jotina,
Yes. See?
what's been going on since the last time we talked?
Man, so much has happened since the last time we talked, right? I mean, we could talk about what's happened in the last week, in the last 2 weeks.
You know what I like about when I have her on here? It's radio, right?
Uh-huh.
She looking right at me.
Yeah,
She
that's
talking.
conversation.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just playing.
I am, hey.
I'm turning purple.
So much has happened. I mean, for me as a person, for my company, Jotina Buck International, and we just birthed a second entity of my company, Unbox Global, and we're headed to South Africa. But I would be remiss not to acknowledge what has happened in our nation, right?
All right.
Us as a nation, we've experienced tragedy after tragedy. So for me, honestly, for a while, I had suspended even talking about South Africa because I understand I have a commitment even here in Houston, right?
Okay.
And to us here in the U.S. And so a lot has happened, but I've been 10 toes down, feet on the ground, working and preparing for this experience in South Africa as I take 6 women from the States to serve in South Africa, to pour into the lives of women and children in orphanages there, and to really help them as they're on a mend after the apartheid suffrage. So they are too suffering with segregation, separation, division, governmental control, and the things that we see here every day. So I say my commitment is not just here in the States, but it's from Houston to South Africa and beyond.
Now, what are you guys doing in South Africa?
Well, we have a couple things. It's twofold. I've done missions for maybe about the last 10 years. But what I found is if I am doing a mission, it's usually been with a church or a school or university or something of that sort. And you have to kind of ascribe to their beliefs in order to be able to participate in this service act. And so for me, I decided to birth a company where it doesn't matter what you believe, right? It doesn't matter if you're connected to a church or if you've never been before. It doesn't matter if you're gay, if you're straight, if you know, somewhere in between. It doesn't matter because I understand if you have a heart to serve, then you can definitely serve with us. So while there, we'll serve at a women's facility. It is actually National Women's Day for them. So we have, we're planning a huge Women's Day celebration for the women there. We'll do some outreach with children, some school ministry there. As you know, I'm a teacher. So I can't go to any other country without going into a classroom. It's just in me. So I'll definitely find myself in the schools, sharing a little bit in the schools with the children. And then we're going to have a little fun, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the message on your shirt? Change your language, change your life.
Change your language, change your life. I eat, sleep, breathe, live this message, man. Now it's been almost 2 years out of my project, Change Your Language, Change Your Life, which is my best-selling book. And I just believe it's so important that we wrap our minds and our hearts around that which we desire and then couple that with the language, right? What are you saying? And I think that's a big message for us as a nation right now. We've been rocked as a nation, you know, and we've seen so many people yield to what the media has said, right? What their family has said. And I don't think we've taken enough time to go within. You know, I think, who is it? Lauryn Hill? How you gonna win if you ain't right within? Yeah, is that her?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I think for me, this is an inward message. You know, are you willing to go within and really think about that which you desire, and then couple it with language so that you can see that result in your life?
Okay.
That's it.
And Miss Seneca, you are rocking with Jotina.
Yes, all day, every day.
Okay. So you making a trip to South Africa?
Yeah, this will actually be my 6th missing trip, my 5th in Africa. So
Wow.
I've been to Kenya, Angola, and this will be my first time serving in South Africa.
Okay. So what do you think about the whole movement experience that Miss Jotina?
Well, you know, one
Is
of the
heading
things is
up.
I like to debunk a lot of the myths about Africa because, of course, the media kind of over-sensationalizes everything. And so every time you see something about Africa, it's like the starving kids with the flies all around them. And, you know, they never show you the beautiful parts of Africa. Like, I just got back from South Africa about 3-4 weeks ago, and it's like they don't show you the beautiful
Just so y'all know.
Well, why would you go to Africa? I was like, it's probably the most amazing place. You know, it has the most natural resources and all these things, but of course they don't show you that.
Yeah.
They don't tell you that. You know, they just want to keep you afraid of Africa. But I mean, if you look up, it's like there's so much business being oil rigs everywhere. The country is supremely rich. And so we've just this is an awesome opportunity because, like she said, change your language, change your life. When you start changing your perspective and thinking about things differently, things change, right? And so, of course, like she said, in a nation where we're like super blessed and we have everything at our disposal and we're a microwave society, we find it hard to just kind of reach out and help other people who are less fortunate. And sometimes it's not even a matter of less fortunate if they've never seen the type of life that we live, right? So to them, they don't feel like they're missing out on anything. And I remember when I went on my first mission trip, like, oh, did you feel sorry for the? And I came back feeling sorry for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was like, these people have nothing, and yet they have so much hope. They have so much humility. They have joy unspeakable. And it's like, by the time I got back to the States, I was pissed because my flight was late 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I'm working with people who wait 8 and 9 hours to see doctors. And we had women 80, 90 years old who have never seen a physician before. Wow. And they will fast the whole day. They don't bring any food or water for the journey. And they will wait and they will smile and they will be humble and they will, you know, and I was like, I had never seen anything like that before. So this is a privilege and an honor.
So why did you choose South Africa, Jotina?
Well, for me, I've served in many places: Nicaragua, Brazil, different parts of Africa, East Africa, Uganda, Zimbabwe. And I was in South Africa for the very first time in 2014. And I had one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And I would definitely have to echo Seneca when I say, for me, I woke up in the morning and I remember being upset because I didn't have, you know, all of my luxuries, right? And I was annoyed like through the night. And that morning I woke up and the ladies who were serving us in the house at that time came, and as they did every morning, bringing breakfast and making sure our beds were cleaned and cleaning the restrooms. And I looked at myself and I said, well, Jotina, you know, right now you're being an American, like a real American right now.
Right.
And it was in that moment that I experienced humility. It was in that moment that I experienced conviction. It was in that moment that I realized I needed Africa more than Africa needed me. And so I knew that I had to go back to that space. And I didn't want to go alone. I knew that I had to bring some people with me, much like Seneca and the other ladies who are traveling, so that we can experience this same transformation, understanding, yes, we may have dollars in the bank, right? And we will, you know, live in our nice homes and things of that nature. But I think there's an even exchange, you know. It's not that you're going because they have less than you.
Right.
It's not that you're going because they're poor. The reality of the matter is we're all poor, right? It's just that poverty doesn't look the same. We're in a nation of unrest right now. We lack peace. When you have someone that has absolutely nothing but can still smile, absolutely nothing but can still say, thank you, God, thank you, universe, thank you, spirit, like, that's huge. And so I think there's something to learn there.
So why the word unboxed experience?
Ooh, that's good. Thanks for asking that. That's a good question. Y'all here always have good questions, just so y'all know. But that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. I believe oftentimes just because of the way I believe society is,
Okay.
we usually will live our lives inside of this box, right?
Okay.
We live our lives within the lines. We live our lives, we govern ourselves. We build our ethics and morals, you know, and relationships by way of this box. And that usually comes from societal standards. And if anyone know me, they know I'm a rebel, a complete rebel in every sense of the word, right? I love Jesus, but I like trap music, you know? You know, I go to church and I shout, but I mean, I got a little twerk on me. So you know, just to really, like, you can have that balance. You can have that in between, you know, loving God, loving people, and living your life in the world. And I think oftentimes when I've served in other places, it's been, you can serve here, but,
Okay.
right? You can serve with us, but you have to be a Jesus lover, right? You can serve with us, but you can't be gay. You know, you can serve with us, but you know, you can't say I'm an atheist. And so there are always stipulations in this box. And so for me with Unbox Global, we are working to be the conduit, the social conduit to curate these unboxed service experiences, no matter where you come from, what your background is, and what you look like. So it's the ultimate sense of unity. And we find that when we decide to draw outside the lines.
All right, we're going to mosey on over here to Hazel and Tam.
Awesome.
They giving me that look like, hey, brother. You came in with Jotina.
Oh, no, goodness, stop.
I mean, seriously, last time.
Oh, I love talking. I talk all day.
I understand. So, Hazel, tell us about the good hair.
The Good Hair Show.
Yeah. I was really trying to find another name. I know it's a good hair show. I was trying to find a more professional, like big name. I wanted to say something big, but then I got Crystal Solomon over here telling me, show, I know what it is.
Yeah, don't change the name. It is the Good Hair Show. It's a hair battle, a hair show, and a health and beauty expo. We're just embracing everything that is hair, health, and beauty.
Okay.
Basically, all hair is good hair. If it's grown from your scalp, it's good hair. If you bought it from the store and you slayed it right, it's good hair. So that's, you know, a lot of time we have a lot of divide when it comes to natural hair, weaves and braids and locks and that kind of thing. So we're just embracing every woman, every man, every type of hair that you choose to rock, you choose to purchase. It's good hair. And just, you know, building this brand of good hair and all that good stuff. So, of course, like I said, it's a hair battle, which is a Bronner Brothers style battle with stylists from Houston and surrounding areas battling, literally putting on a big production of being a stylist. So they come up with their own concept, their own scheme of things. They bring in their models and they transform these stylists on stage and incorporate a theme that they have imagined in their head. We got some, you can see anything from Wizard of Oz to Black Panthers to just anything you can think of. These stylists are really creating a show to entertain the audience and the judges. And of course, there is the expo part of it. We have a lot of vendors, Black-owned businesses from Houston and surrounding areas. You know, natural hair products. We got weave products. We got all kinds of things that, you know.
Do you have anything for bald head people? That's my question.
We have some products. We have a little bit of everything for everybody. Like I said, we're encompassing everything that is hair and health and beauty.
So why did you decide to do the Good Hair Show?
Really and truthfully, there hasn't been a show of this magnitude in Houston that has that really focuses on the hair. And of the stylist aspect. Yeah, we have the expos and that kind of thing, but what about the stylists? What about their creativity and them showcasing their art? So that's why I wanted to really, of course, have vendors, but really showcase the hair battle and the hair show part. And Houston really doesn't have that.
Why is that?
I'm not quite sure, but I tend to change it, and I tend for this show to be around for many, many years to come. So, of course, this is the inaugural year, but, you know, for many years to come, I want this to be a platform to grow. A lot of times we
we jump to run to Atlanta and jump to run to other, staples in the beauty industry, but we can do it here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about, building your brands. It's all about networking. It's all about supporting one another.
Mm-hmm.
In Houston, we have a problem with that. We really do. Everybody's really cliquish and that kind of thing. So I really want to bring everybody together. The camaraderie between stylists and the vendors and in the consumer.
All right.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to venture off into the hair business, and what is your connection to the hair business?
I am a loctician. I own the Lock Block in Stafford, 77477, Suite 202. You guys come back if you need your locks laid. I decided to do the show, like I was saying, after I went to, off to do several shows. But I was like, we need this in Houston. Yeah. So I, did my research and my due diligence and
come on, due diligence.
And really start creating this show.
All right, now for Ben and myself, well, more so for Ben, what is a loctician?
I specialize in locks.
What's locks? You know what locks is, Ben?
Locks are
those are locks.
For lack of a better term, dreadlocks.
And don't you have locks?
I do have locks.
I was really
I
didn't
do.
know he wasn't like that.
I do have locks. And that's the thing with locks, is very versatile. You can slap a wig on, braid them, do all kind of things, braids on top, that kind of thing. So if you see me, you may see locks, you may see a wig, you may see braids, twist, or whatever. So a lot of times I do throw people off when I show up and I have a whole different look and persona. But like I said, I am a loctician. I specialize in locks, lock maintenance, starter locks, lock coloring, lock styles, all that good stuff. Everything encompassing locks, I cover. Yeah. So.
You got that, Ben?
Ben,
So we that's for Ben. Ben ain't know what locks was. So we had to clarify so Ben understood what was going on.
I don't know about that. I think it was you, man.
No. I know everything. I know everything. Now going back to the good hair. Now, is there such a thing as good hair versus bad hair?
And that's exactly what I was saying. All hair is good hair.
Okay.
Like I said, if it's natural, it's good. If it's slayed and a weave and it's done properly, it's good. So just like I said, good hair. Just trying to get that divide down as far as natural hair versus the relaxed sister versus the merging all those concepts of good hair together.
All right. So in essence, like Jotina said, do you have something for women that are bald or women that do natural hair?
No shade.
No shade.
No, I'm not saying. Hey, no.
I think Jotina's bald by choice.
No, I know she's bald by choice. So my question to that is it harder for women to embrace natural hair?
It is most definitely much harder because we've been programmed from such a young age to kinky is bad. Kinky is not what's up. So just really reprogramming ourselves to be comfortable with what God gave us and what grows from our head. Just being comfortable with that, and it really so necessarily the process, but the mindset to transition.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times people, I'm giving up. I can't deal, that kind of thing. I'm putting a relaxer on. I'm going back to the creamy crack. Right. Just the transition is more in the mind frame than it is the actual hair. So.
I'm really amazed all of y'all have natural hair.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no hair.
Why-
No, I'm just kidding.
What made you decide to go?
I always tell people I didn't have an India.Arie moment. I didn't have a I am not my hair moment. I didn't wake up one day and was like, oh, I want to go back to Mother Earth. So I didn't have one of those experiences. I know that's some people's story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For me, it was very expensive. Like having hair costs.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. How much money you spend on hair? That's the real question. Yeah, right?
I'm special. I have a lot of hood
Okay.
days, but I do know that just buying bundles of hair can be
It
anywhere
is
from $200 to
ridiculously
$400.
expensive,
it is.
and especially if you want to look good. And so I was the bundles person. I mean, I had a little flip and a little bang. Yes, listen, in a minute. But I realized I wanted to be a better financial steward. Like that's where it started for me. I woke up one day, it was New Year's, I was done with my vision boarding, planning, and all of this. And I was like, how do I save money? And the first thing was, Baby, you gotta get rid of those bundles. That's where you start.
That would have been the last thing.
I can't see
I-
that. It's that expensive.
Huh?
It was that expensive.
It was that expensive, and it was down my back. Like, it's a lot. It's that expensive. Literally,
Shoes are expensive.
$500 and $600 expensive. Like,
Yeah, but-
not.
No, I don't know.
and-
That's a good one. That's
It's
a good
expensive,
Yeah.
and it for me as an entrepreneur. I'm always thinking about how do I maximize my time. How do I make sure that I'm being a good steward over my time. I would sit in the hair salon for 5 hours maybe on a Saturday. I would go when I got off, and I would be there until midnight. Like, do you know what I could do in that time? What kind of work I could get done? And so I knew I needed to save money, and I knew I needed to save time.
Yeah.
And the answer was, girl, cut your hair off. You'll be fine. And it literally shaved. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is. If we could just really have that conversation. I know women who spend $600 and $700, and that's on the low end.
Right.
That's just for your hair.
So when you get about 4 bundles and the closure and the install, that's looking at $500 plus $100 and something. That's a bunch of money. Yeah. And you can start a business with that money.
Hello? That's it.
Yeah.
Al, what's up? Because I see the look on your face. What are you saying?
I'm just listening. She said it was expensive, so she just cut it off.
I cut it off, and it was the best decision I made.
know.
I spent literally 15 minutes in the barbershop. I make an appointment. I walked in this morning at 8. By 8:15, I was walking out the door, and I could do the rest of my day and be okay. Yeah. And that's $10 at the barbershop. That's $40 a month for my hair maintenance. And that's not including when I do my little exfoliation and all that fun stuff to my scalp, because it is important to still care. You can't do anything with $40 in America. Let's have that conversation in real life.
Wait.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, the Lock Block is the home of the $50 retwist. So
Yes. Hello, commercial break.
Come on, somebody.
Well, actually,
The $50 retwist, that includes your wash, your condition, and your retwist. When you start adding on colors, and it's cheap, and I want to service you, people's banks. So,
Jotina, would you say that's your signature? Because I feel like your hair is also a part of your brand. Because I don't know
answer
you,
that
but
question
I know
just
you.
yet.
Not yet?
Not
Okay.
yet. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes.
The Al Rucker Show is in studio with its lovely panel today, and this portion has always been brought to you by Midtown Bail Bonds, where we're open 24 hours for your convenience. No bond is too big or too small. 713-752-BOND. That's 713-752-2663. And we'll be back with more of The Al Rucker Show. And welcome back to The Al Rucker Show.
Thank you for tuning in to the Al Rucker Show. And again, we left off with Tam asked Jotina a very interesting question.
We were talking about, what were we talking about? Signature. Yeah. I brought up the fact that your hair, to me, I don't know you, but I know of you because of your baldness, if you will. And I just feel like it goes with the brand. So would you say that's why you keep it short, low?
That's a good question. And I will be honest and say I've thought about transitioning or growing my hair back. I don't know if I'll ever go back to bundles, but I did think about it, and I do believe that it is a part of my brand. I do believe that it is a staple for me, right? And what I've also learned is I go to many networking events, I go to many different events and things like that. It's a great conversation starter. Usually you walk in the room, you're the only bald head black lady in there, right? And it opens a door. It's the conversation. Someone will always say, I love your hair. What happened? What led you to cutting your hair off? And so it's a great segue into conversing and just kind of talking. I would say that now it has become, when you have a book and your bald head face is plastered on the cover, you can't just go get bundles, the next day. Yeah. So it is now. I am. Good question.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about some of the.
That's a good one too. What I know now is, while South Africa is a beautiful country, they are on amends steal from the apartheid suffrage. That was in the early 90s that South Africa experienced this great separation and segregation movement, where so many of the colored people, as they call them, were pushed out of their communities and pushed out of their homes and even separated from their families, literally based on the color of their skin. Not just if you were technically or on paper black or white, but literally, like each of us sitting in this room, she would be considered a white. I would be considered a black.
Oh, wow.
You would be considered a colored. Literally, that's how segregation happened. So we see families of all different colors. So families were literally split apart, and as a result of that, there was this huge distribution of wealth and misappropriation of funds.
Yeah.
So what you had was families, and what you have is families in literally $1 million homes on one side of the highway, and then you have the slums of some 500,000 people with no electricity, no running water, no way to feed their families. And that's what we see even now today in the 21st century when we go in. And as a result of that, homelessness is prevalent. Prostitution and gangs are everywhere. Human trafficking and sex trafficking, it's there, it exists, it's real. I believe the unemployment rate is somewhere around 70%. That's high. It's very high. And then you have maybe 38% of the population is HIV/AIDS positive. So when I say there's a need for hope, there's a need for light, there's a need for love, and even a need for service, it's real. Yes, the needs are prevalent here, and I am working here, so it's not to discount. Yeah, it's not to discount. It's funny. Tam, ask your question. Tam, you should be doing this interview because you have all the good questions down there.
I was going to ask that. Like, how do you feel? Like, I'm listening to you, and I'm like, man, that's amazing. But with everything going on a few miles up the road, where do you... I mean, because I'm new to the Jotina experience. I'm just not knowing about this unboxed. You know what I'm saying? Like the children in Third Ward. And
I love that you asked that question. And so about 10 weeks ago, I was working through this movement, and I was working through like, okay, what is it that I'm really doing? Who am I called to serve? And immediately I said, well, before you can be trusted to go across the world, right, and serve people across the world, I believe you have to be trusted to go next door. I got on the line. I called up a few friends. I called up my guy who does my graphics. I called up my mentor, and I said, I believe that I'm being pushed on a tour right now. And they're like, what? You're going to do a tour 10 weeks before you leave? And I believe that's the call, because I understand that which I am doing over there, it exists over here. So June 5th, I set out for a tour here locally.
Okay.
I've served and shared this very same message at Star of Hope right here, in downtown Houston. I was recently at Project Row Houses, which is in Third Ward. Search Houston, which is in downtown as well. Family Time Crisis Intervention and Prevention Center is in Humble, and because I know that it's prevalent, it's real, it exists. So I did a tour, Houston and South Africa. I can't be anything for them if I can't first be it here at home.
And I guess, too, I wanted to ask, you're only one person, so how do you get everybody a part, helping this experience? Because you can't do it alone, you know what I mean? And that's what I love about what Hazel's doing. Hazel's bringing us all, not the segue, but the segue. But
Al, I think you need to hire Tam.
No,
I'm just gonna say that, okay?
Like, here's the thing. So I can't, I'm not a ball player. I'm not a rapper. But my gifts are to motivate people to get paid to live off their purpose. You know what I'm saying? And Hazel was one of those people that inspired me, because she creates platforms every day. She's an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? And I'm the number one. I tell people all the time, I get paid to be your number one cheerleader. I get paid to be your best friend, your support system. Because I really believe that's a passion of mine that you're supposed to be doing, using your gifts. You know what I'm saying? They say the richest place is a graveyard, because so many people die without using their gifts and talents. But I believe that. And when I see people unhappy at a job, or when I see people, and it happens because that's where depression, we're only depressed because we're not living our true selves. You know what I'm saying? We don't have time. We try to do it part-time. You cannot do what you have been called to do part-time and be happy, in my opinion. But that's what Hazel's doing with this hair show, because not only is it a hair show, but I mean, with the vendors, she's really creating a platform for first time, like new business owners, like, hey, please be a part. You don't have to be 5 years in the game. You don't have to drive this. You don't have to be a part of this clique. If you have a dream, I want your dream a part of my dream, because we were right here at Reggae Hut in October, and she was like, Tam, meet me. And she's like, I want to do this hair show. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, when you want to do it? And she's like, July. Like, I already had a date. And I'm sitting up here like, I take calculated risk. I'm like planning, do we need a year or whatever? But she's one of those people that I've seen take big leaps and be rewarded for it. But I guess, segueing back to you guys, y'all
so
push
how
people
do I
on this
do it?
Yeah.
How do I do it? Because it's just to me.
Yeah.
I realize that it's not just me.
Okay.
Right? I 10 toes down, feet on the ground, in working. I understand that I cannot do any of this alone, which is why I knew. Al just asked me a moment ago, why did you choose South Africa? Why did you choose to go back there? Because I knew that this was an experience that others needed to have. I knew that if I was infected, right, the way that I was infected, in such a way that it changed my life and it fueled something in me to come back and give, let me take some other individuals so that they can have this same experience. And then we grow tentacles, right? We grow more arms and we grow more legs, because they're going to come back from Africa with their experience being fueled and ignited and ready to say, oh, I gotta go grab somebody by the hand and bring somebody else. So it's my hope that in 2017, we will see the numbers of individuals wanting to serve the world quadruple, right? Just by way of what I've done so far with Jotina Buck International, and then to build affiliate doors for partnerships, for sponsors, for individuals to come on as affiliates so that they too can be a part of this. I realize and I recognize with foreign missions and with foreign service experiences, everyone is not called to actually plant their feet on the soil in Africa. There are some individuals that's just like, oh, I'm not going. I'm not sleeping in a tent. I'm not going without my hot water. I'm not going without my flat iron for 2 weeks. I'm not doing it, right? Like you have some people. I get that. It's not for you. But can you play a part? Absolutely, right? Every single part of this experience matters, from the person who donated to the person who created the flyers to the t-shirts to the actual individuals who are boarding the plane and going. And so to answer your question, I have partnership opportunities, sponsorship opportunities, affiliate opportunities, and not only that, the big thing that I'm super excited about is while there will be shooting a documentary that will premiere in spring 2017. This documentary will expand the world view of what's happening, and not just what's happening in South Africa, but even what's happening here in Houston and on the U.S. soil in such a way where you compel people. We don't have a choice but to serve others, right? Yeah. That's our responsibility.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that in just a second. We come back from a break.
The Al Rucker Show is brought to you by Midtown Bell Bonds. No bond is too big or too small. Open 24 hours for your convenience. See us online at www.midtownbellbonds.com or give us a call at 713-752-BOND. That's 713-752-2663. And we'll be back with the finale of The Al Rucker Show. Welcome back to the latest on The Al Rucker Show.
Thank you for tuning back into The Al Rucker Show. And again, we've talked a lot about Jotina's trip to South Africa, and we also talked to Hazel and Tam in regards of the Good Hair Show this coming weekend. Jotina, my question is, what do you plan to accomplish with this mission trip?
There are two goals engendered in what we're doing. The very first goal is to ensure that we serve the people, whatever their needs are. Whatever they need us to be in that space, in that time. The first goal is service to the people. For me as a leader, I have a second goal. And that second goal is to ensure that the individuals who are traveling with me are also served and transformed. Okay. So it's to be love, light, and life. That's engendered in my book, Change Your Language, Change Your Life, to the world by first serving the world. Mm-hmm. It's all about service. That's it.
Now, when you say service, if I'm in Africa, I'm a resident of Africa, and you coming to visit me, and you saying you come to give me service, what does that look like when you say service? Because I'm thinking, if I'm over there and I'm in a financial situation, I'm looking for financial.
I'm glad you asked that question, because what ends up happening is this isn't haphazard service, right? This isn't I wake up in the morning and say, oh, who can I serve today? Okay. It's strategic. We already have on-ground affiliates in Africa. We already have partners there that have targeted and identified groups of people and individuals who need what we are bringing. Okay. Our two target groups are women and children. Okay. And when I say service, we will be present for. Okay. I don't like to use the word bring to, because what what happens when we use the word bring to, it says that they're without something.
Exactly.
Right? But when I say I come to share with you and I come to serve you, and it's my hope that you can do the same, there is this exchange. So it's not an inferior, superior approach that we take, as if you have something, we have something that you don't have.
Okay.
But it's an open heart and an open mind to say, you give me or pour into me, I'll pour into you. We exchange energy, we exchange stories. And in as much as I serve you, it's my sincere hope that everything we pour out, we get back.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. So when you leave, what do you plan on leaving with those people?
Light, love, hope, and life change.
Okay. And how do you continue to, is there a follow-up?
Absolutely. And so it's funny because this experience is a follow-up from my last experience in 2014. We are all about building relationships.
Okay.
So it's not an abandonment of the individual who you've served, because what ends up happening is you see a lot of companies that go in and they drop off food, right? We've seen that. We see a lot of companies that go in and say, okay, we're bringing all these goodies and all these things in here. But when we think about beyond charity, when we think about, it's not just saying I've done my good deed for the day, let me go back to the comforts of my home, but it's my sincere hope that as we see the need, that we can come back to the table, the 6 women that I've taken, we can strategize and talk about further plans in order to make sure that we are building that relationship and we are still sharing and exchanging, even from the U.S. to that region in South Africa.
I got another question. Okay, you chose South Africa. Why not downtown Detroit?
Well, it's not one or the other, right? The service in South Africa doesn't negate my ability to go into downtown Detroit, right?
Okay.
I chose downtown Houston this time. I chose the Houston area this time. And the reason I chose the Houston area is because as I said before, I can't serve them there if I can't do it at home, you know? And I willfully take the front line here in Houston. And it's not just homelessness and the things we see, but our nation has been rocked.
Well, I understand
I sat
that.
on the front line last night talking as a panelist about Black Lives Matter, and you'd be surprised how crazy the room was. But I am willing to get on the front line of whatever cause I am driven towards, and I know I am in alignment with, and it's in alignment with my message.
Well, when I said downtown Detroit, I just picked the city. Those efforts and energies that y'all are taking to South Africa, how are you guys applying those, or why not apply those here in America?
We are applying them here in America. I just came off of a 6-week tour.
Okay.
While on a 6-week tour, it was the Houston to South Africa tour. I was challenged to touch 10,000 lives in 6 weeks. I was challenged to give the message away. I ordered over 500 books and I gave every last one of them away. I didn't make one sell because it wasn't about selling the message more than it was giving that message away to ensure that people that can't afford it, people who are homeless don't have $20 to buy a book. But that doesn't mean they're not worthy of the message, right? You know, people who are in need.
Well, if I'm homeless, I don't want to read no book.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true. We need hope. They still need hope. Yes, they need resources, but they still need hope, right? So if I walk into the Star of Hope and I'm sitting in there in a room of women who already have a comfortable place to sleep, the Star of Hope is providing that. They're already getting what they need for their children because they're being provided that. They're already getting what they need to eat every single day. We can't discount because a person is struggling that they don't need the hope right now. It happens simultaneously. It happens at the same time. They need the hope and the food, right? They need the book and the bed. They need it all. And so I can't say I'm not a savior of the world. You know, I can't go and buy beds for everybody to sleep in, right? But what I do have in my hand is a message that I've carefully worked to construct in such a way that it can be hope for the person that's even in their lowest and darkest place.
So based on the issues that you are seeing in Africa and here in the United States, do you think as a community, what do you think as a community we can do to help our own community?
That's a good question. But I want to ask you a question. When you say here in the United States, are we talking about the recent turn of events that we've experienced? Or are you speaking of overall issues such as unemployment rates and homelessness and things, drugs and things of that nature? Or are you speaking of the recent turn of events? Because I think that the answers are different.
They are different, and I'm saying in general, overall. I mean, those issues of the things that happened over the last week. Hopefully, those are ongoing issues that we all have to correct and try to work out.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, there are issues like you say, the homelessness and the hope and the people at the at the Star of Hope and all those kind of districts like that. So I'm saying, as a community, what can we do from your standpoint?
I believe as a community, I did not go to Star of Hope just one time. I was at Star of Hope 4 times on my tour. And I believe as a community, we have to commit, like find a cause and commit to it.
Yeah.
Whatever that cause is. Your thing may not be my thing. My thing may be, literally standing in my kitchen, preparing sandwiches, and then going out to the streets and giving them to individuals who are asleep under the bridge and taking a moment to sit on the side of the curb and share with them. That may be my thing, right? Your thing may just be to open your shop one day a month and say, I am going to allow Star of Hope. Yeah, I offer services. You have to find at least a cause and commit. I believe we struggle with commitment sometimes to things that are bigger than us, right? Or beyond where we are. We'll start out, and we want to run this thing like it's a sprint, but it's a marathon, man. It takes commitment to a cause in order to see it through and to really be able to track the life change.
Yeah, the life change.
Yeah.
So, in your own words, what's your biggest accomplishment to now?
Let me just build myself up for a moment. No, just kidding. My biggest accomplishment and
just one.
Just one?
Just one.
Career accomplishment or just period?
Whatever you feel you want to boast about. You got to, hey.
I'll be honest with you. Why I'm here today. My biggest accomplishment to this day, right now, is to see the birth of Unbox Global.
Okay.
I've been doing missions for 10 years. My first international missions experience was in 2016 to Leon, Nicaragua, with my university, Houston Baptist University, with 72 other individuals. I never knew that moment as a young African-American girl in college would lead me to where I am today. Owning my own company and overseeing my own company that's now doing what that organization did for us 10 years ago. That's big. It's huge. It's major. To shoot this documentary, to be able to expose to the world how they can serve more and expand this platform, for me, to date, this is me walking out my life's purpose. It's the biggest thing I've ever done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I see myself as Dr. Buck. That's the very first thing. I am in my first semester of my doctorate's program. Whoop, whoop. I see myself as Dr. Buck in the next 5 years. Not only that, I see this organization and company, Unbox Global, being having microsites all over the U.S. and even beyond, because I do understand that it's important that we begin to plant ourselves in different areas. So it's my hope to plant a few microsites of Unbox Global in different areas so we can send people from all over the country to serve in the world.
Okay. And Hazel, in regards of the Good Hair Show this weekend, how can the community benefit from attending the Good Hair Show?
The benefit that the community can receive is supporting Black businesses, pouring into businesses that are ran by people that look like us. Really buying Black.
Okay.
Basically is a benefit that is created with this show. Also, Good Hair Show and the Lock Block provide hair services and beauty services to underprivileged families in the Fort Bend area.
Okay.
So haircuts for the gentlemen and services.
And this
for
is going
people
on.
in need.
And this is Sunday. Or this is going on Sunday.
No, this happens throughout the year. I offer services to underprivileged families. I work with an organization called Fort Bend Family Promise.
Okay.
So the Lock Block, my shop, partners with them. They work with a lot of transitioning families from, they're in predicaments and situations, transitioning to getting back on their feet. So I provide services throughout the year with partnering through them. And also proceeds from the Good Hair Show will be used to provide hair pieces for children in need, suffering from leukemia, burn, cancer, that kind of thing. It's very hard for, sometimes difficult for, we have locks of love and all that stuff, but they don't cater to hair that looks like our hair.
Okay.
So, really customizing pieces for people that look like us, that are suffering from hair loss due to illnesses.
Okay. All right. Well, we heard a lot today. We definitely wish you and your team safe travels, Jotina.
Thank you.
And so Seneca. I was about to call you Serena. I knew it was with an S. Yeah, I know. Huh? And we definitely wish Hazel and her team and Tam success over the weekend. Again, Jotina, is good always hearing from you and seeing you, and I definitely wish you a lot of luck, and hopefully next time we'll be calling you Doctor.
Yes.
Doctor. Again, thank you guys for tuning in today to the Al Rucker Show. We'll see you next week.
From the Al Rucker Show, Midtown Bell Bonds, and Dolce Ultra Lounge and Bistro, we thank you for tuning in and listening to our beautiful panel of ladies today. Jotina Buck and Seneca Dunmore of Unbox Global Services, South Africa. Also, remember to pick up your copy of Change Your Language, Change Your Life by Miss Jotina Buck. Also, join Hazel L. Brown and Tamara at the Good Hair Battle, Hair Show, and Hair and Health and Beauty Expo this Sunday. And remember, Dolce Ultra Lounge and Bistro is the food vendor from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And all proceeds are going to the children suffering from hair loss due to illness. So if you need any questions, have anything to say, want to participate, you can definitely reach out to www.alruckershow.com. Hit us up on all social media sites, alruckershow.com. As always, hit us up at Midtown Bell Bonds, 713-752-2663. And if you're interested in our brunch at Dolce Ultra Lounge and Bistro, just visit us at www.dolcehouston.com. Thank you again, Houston. Stay safe, stay cool, and we'll see you next Friday on The Al Rucker Show.
KKBQ HD2.